Good morning. Hope everyone is well. So, I'd like to start with this quote, and I'll have to double check it, but I believe it's from Albert Einstein. And he says, "Our separation of each other is an optical illusion of consciousness." And that really struck me because it's true. How we perceive the world, through what lens, is actually directly related to our level of consciousness. We tend to view the world as us versus them, through the lens of politics, religion, ethnicity, age, our jobs. We tend to see things our way and then everyone else. So this practiced mindset of us versus them. So I want to tell you a little story that really struck me because I'm still here. So about 20 years ago, there was a young guy who was out drinking at a bar in our local town. He was overserved. He got into his car. He ran a stop sign. He T-boned a vehicle, killing the passenger, who was a teenage girl, and significantly injuring the driver, who was her mother. And you can imagine the shock and sadness that our community felt. This woman was a local nurse, very well known. This accident really impacted the whole community. And while the obvious discussion was about the family of the women in the accident, the tragic death of this teenage girl, and the impact, the long-term impacts of losing a child on the family. But there was a conversation that was going around that disturbed me. And this one person I know very well said, well, it was only a matter of time that he did something like this. And I was like, what? I didn't get it. This guy had never been in trouble before, made a series of poor decisions that night, starting with consuming too much. But the local bar had overserved him, and now we have in place in Ontario some pretty harsh fines for establishments to overserve. But this guy then chose to get into his car and created a series of traumatic events as a result of that. And I really wondered, how is it that this person, a well-educated, well-informed person, would say, well, it's just a matter of time before they did that, or something like that. And I thought, well, you know what? Was that part of his story? And I learned a little bit more that he came from a bit of a tough home, didn't really grow up surrounded by love or support. And that does not mean that you get a free pass as an adult, because I grew up in a very tough home and I chose to be a responsible, loving member of our society. And so it struck me, I just thought, was there not anyone in this young man's life that ever validated him? That ever, like a teacher, another family member? How is it that someone goes along, and this is not unique by far, but people are always happy to say, oh, it takes a village, when you bring an extra dozen cookies to the church bake sale. Well, great. Nice that you participated and you added. But really, what we are being called as a village is to actually take care and reach out to those people that probably need it the most. And we can all go to our religious, our weekly masses and think that we've done a good job and we've put our money in the collection. But what we are really being called to do is be the light for people, extend ourselves to people that we may not even know. So our roles may be as a health practitioner or as a person on yard duty at your kid's school, or just making eye contact with someone. These micro moments, these large and small moments, can have a huge impact on people's lives. I have experienced that myself. So when I heard that, oh, it's just a matter of time, that made me really sad, because it's almost like this kid would never, like there was an expectation within the community. And listen, it wasn't just this one woman that said it. It was echoed in this group. Everybody was like, yep, oh, I know his siblings. I know his mom and dad. And I just thought that was just sad. We all come into the world in the same way. And yet we have such a vast difference in our experiences. And I felt equally bad for this guy whose life also would take on a new trajectory. That was what he had to live with. He took a life. And I don't know where he is. He obviously went to jail for a while. But I just thought it was really important to remember that here we are all connected. And the health of our community, the health of this world, as we are seeing, is reliant upon us working together in these small and large ways. And for us to be able to sit back and pat ourselves on the shoulder and say, well, I'm good. It's not enough anymore. It's not. It's not enough that we just raise our family. We have to look at the other children in the schoolyard and light up when you see them too. Or light up when, I'm noticing this when I'm out doing groceries. People are stressed. These workers bringing food to us are stressed. Our nurses, obviously, our doctors. But we have this ability to look and smile and give people some validation. So Einstein was right. Our barriers are simply our own level of consciousness. So for me, that is one of the beautiful natural elevations that occur through the practice of meditation or getting quiet or whatever it is you do, is that it settles us from the hyperactivity, and the negativity can take place in more stressful times. And instead, we establish an inner sense of calm, and therefore a better lens through which to view the world, just a kinder lens. And we don't have to agree with each other, because there's a whole bunch of things we see out there that it'd be pretty tough to agree with or recommend. That's not our job. Our job is to take care of ourselves and try to impact those that we come across in a loving, kind way. And if we can't, I think Dalai Lama said, if you can't say something nice, then at least just don't say anything. And that's an obvious, comment, because we can get caught, and I include myself here, in wanting people to see my view. And, that's not, why do I think my view is so great? Everybody thinks their view is great. So my job is to just be that which, I guess, be that change. So I chose to live in a way with greater integrity than my parents did. And they evolved tremendously in their lives. It was an absolute blessing that I chose to stick around and watch them evolve. And so with this guy who killed someone, it was a life sentence for both of them. The young woman that was killed and for him. But we all, as we are here, as we breathe, as we choose, if we choose to be more conscious individuals, we have the opportunity every single day to elevate our awareness, our consciousness, to allow for greater qualities of character to be expressed, and not only with the people that we think are worthy. Most especially, we need to pay attention and express love, kindness, patience, generosity of spirit to those who are struggling. Be like Oprah, I'll start crying. No, she doesn't cry. Did Oprah cry? Anyway, so we're going to do a couple of really cool meditations. And the first one, I'll be leading you just through a simple breath awareness, and we're going to add a mudra today. So mudras are hand gestures, and mudras are used in meditation to draw upon certain qualities. So they could be static, they could be just, you take your mudra and it doesn't change, or they can actually change within your meditation. Today we'll use one that changes, so that as we inhale, so it's called Namaskar mudra. So hands are in prayer position at the heart center. So once we get into the meditation, I will ask you that as you breathe in, you allow the hands to open a bit as we breathe into the heart. And as we exhale, we close. So inhale and exhale. So allow yourselves to get comfortable. And you can close the eyes. And we'll start by taking a few nice deep breaths. And you can do it at this point either in and out through the nostrils, or in through the nostrils, out through the mouth. Allowing the breath to settle you further into your seat. And allowing the breath to create a sense of expansion. And bringing your hands to Namaskar. And bringing your awareness to the heart center. Find the breath. And noticing it first just with the gentle rise and fall of the chest wall. We're establishing our presence here. Establishing our presence through the heart. And when you're ready, you can include the mudra so that as you inhale, the hands open in receptivity, and as you exhale, they come together in prayer. Inhaling, receiving, exhaling at your own pacing. And if it's available to you, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And if it's available to you, you can even include an element of light so that with each inhale, we inhale light into the heart center. And with each exhale, we exhale love. Inhaling light, exhaling love. Stay with the meditation, stay here. Allow the body to expand, your sense of awareness to expand. Inhaling light, exhaling love. Stay with me. And if the mind wanders, which it will do, just gently bring your attention and awareness back to the meditation, back to the breath, back to the mudra. Inhaling light, exhaling love. And just a few more moments. And keeping the eyes closed, allow the hands to rest on the thighs now, palms down. And we will do a silent mantra meditation. And today's mantra will be Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. And this means I am the universe. I am that. The divine is in each one of us. We are individuated aspects of the divine, individuated manifestations. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Silently, at your own pacing. Aham Brahmasmi. And investigate, sense, if you will, the vibrational qualities of the mantra and receive those qualities, those vibrations through the body as we connect together through this mantra. Aham Brahmasmi. It's both soothing and relaxing, settling. Aham Brahmasmi. Few more minutes. Stay with the breath, stay with the mantra. And you can release the mantra and simply come back to the natural rhythms of the breath as it presents itself to you right here, right now. And we'll take a couple of deep breaths in. And this time out through the mouth. Inhaling in. Out. Release. And in. And exhale and allow the eyes to once again open. Receiving the space. So it's really just such a wonderful feeling to reset, right? Reset the breath, reset the central nervous system. I always come out, my eyes are a little less intense. I think before we start, I'm looking at you with great focus. And then after, I'm just like, peace out. So, circling back to this interconnectedness, this notion that Einstein delivered 100 years ago or whatever, that it's just our level of consciousness which separates us. So I invite you to access that today. When you have a minute, just use that as your reference point. How are we connected? Am I open to connecting with others? Can I be more open? And where and when? Because there are opportunities for us to connect. So I appreciate this opportunity to connect with you. Namaste.